fuck her father. I'm not saying that she should fuck her father. We fulfilled our incest quota for the day with that earlier mythological tale. But yeah, no, seriously, he is a huge prick.
It's not going to be easy.
He is not a pleasant person. It is very nice to see, though, that Senua was able to break away from him. Obviously, she still has her own issues to deal with, and whatever additional issues came from his abuse, those aren't going away, but getting rid of the source of new abuse, that's a good thing. And not everyone in an abusive situation can do that, unfortunately. Okay, so we have 2 more challenges over this way. Let's see what this one is. I'm hoping to complete them before my controller's battery runs out completely. I really don't want to take a break, but I'm gonna have to do so at some point just to let it charge. And that pains me so much. I don't want to stop playing this wonderful game.
It was so terrible that not the oldest man among us could remember the like. Hundreds died. The sickness took nearly every person younger than 40 and many older. And where dying mothers gave birth, the marks of the plague were on the babes as they came out of the womb.
Where are we? I don't like it. This place feels... What is this place? It's creepy. It feels wrong. It feels strange.
Well, it's a nice change of pace from the previous area.
Where are we? Turn back.
I'm sure things will turn sour soon enough. The mention of the plague specifically has me worried.
The light. Go towards it. He's in the house. He's going in. He's disappearing.
I wonder if perhaps it was the plague that claimed the life of Dillion.
How do you find it?
I was under the impression up till now that he had lost it in battle.
You just have to solve it.
And there was also some murmur at some point of it maybe being her fault. Although that could just be, you know, guilt. That always happens when a loved one dies. Oh god, this is a nasty ass swamp.
It's a test. Like the old warrior trials. Dillion will help me. The stench of rot. She can almost taste it. Do you smell it? No. Don't worry. Not everyone can. So one spring day when she went to the river with Dillion and the others. For the water. She could taste the rot. But no one else could. She knew something was wrong. Something sinister. She begged them to leave, but they just laughed at her. But soon enough, as the bodies piled up, no one was laughing. And they knew that she was not like them. How are you going to fix it? You can't get to the house.
I didn't expect it to turn literally sour. Jeez. Look at these surrounding environments. Not a pleasant place anymore, that's for sure. I hope I'm heading in the right direction. I think I am. It's hard to tell exactly where I'm supposed to go in a large open area like this. So I can only move on forward and hope I'm doing the right thing. I'm assuming these gates mark progress of some sort. Well, there's a ladder up there that I can knock down, so I have to get up there, obviously. Perhaps from over here? No, that's not gonna quite work. Can't go through there, it's at too odd of an angle. This can't be a dead end, can it? This is another downside of having absolutely no UI or HUD whatsoever, outside of the optional photo mode, of course. is it's more difficult to guide the player where they need to go. It is possible if you design your environments well enough, but those are shards of glass. That is weird. It is possible if you design your environments well enough, but even if they're perfectly designed, your players are likely going to get lost at some point. As I have been in the past, and as I currently am now. I hope I didn't just go backwards.
Quick, get to the house. Get to the house and finish this trial. It doesn't finish until...
Alright, get to the house. I'll try that.
Yes, Senua. You have to get in.
Did I just go in circles?
To climb the tower, the ladder. Quick. You can see it. A line to the truth. The bridge.
Wait a minute, this place's layout changed, didn't it? It looks a little bit different than it did previously, I'm pretty sure. Is that a function of these gates? Yes, it is. Okay. It's the return of that mechanic. That's what's going on here. That means I do need to proceed through here to proceed, and then... perhaps... Well, let's check out this first.
The Northmen speak of a death moon, a light shaped like a half moon that appears inside a house and goes around the walls. I once saw the death moon appear at a farm, and first the shepherd died, then a guest died, and then the farmhands, and then the farmer and 6 of his men drowned at sea. But that is not the end of it, because the dead return to haunt the living. If you see the death moon, then beware, because there will be death in that house.
Sorry, I keep getting too far away from these lore stones. Okay, I think I need to go through these in a certain order to actually make this work out. Okay, yep, so that's up, that's active, so I want to go through this one, then travel back through here now that this pathway is opened up, and now I can access the ladder. Okay. I really do love these puzzles. They're simple enough that you can figure them out just by fiddling with them like that, like I just did there. But despite being simple, they don't come across as such due to exactly what they involve, all this illusion stuff and whatnot. I can't seem to go anywhere else up here. What was the point of this? Oh. I think that might be the point.
She did it. You fixed the bridge. She fixed it. You passed the trial. Get to the house. You succeeded.
Yeah, I did it. Yay. Oh, those voices aren't going to be encouraging for long, I can tell you that. How do I get over to that bridge? I guess over this way? Yeah. That's not a good sign. Neither are those corpses. Yep, plague victims. That's why they're all wrapped up to try and avoid the contamination while dealing with the bodies. So yeah, either Senua had a child that died to the plague that we haven't heard about until now, or that's what claimed Dillion. I'm hoping the latter, just because that means slightly less suffering that Senua had to go through, but
Come to me. Where are you?
I'm here. I'm right here.
Are you in there?
Where is he?
Come out, Senua.
You have to find him. The runes. Focus. The runes.
There was a Northman called Grettir, big, red-haired, immensely strong, but he was afraid of the dark. It happened one night that an undead creature came to his house to drag him out.
Dillion! They're coming for me!
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't expect to get teleported to another location entirely and have that interrupt the lore stuff. I'll see if I can't check that out later. Okay, time to run. Yeah. Was that avoidable? I'm not sure if that was avoidable or not. No, yep, that was an avoidable death. Oh, the rot reaches ever upward. I guess I just need to run then?
What should I do? Through the wrong door. Where's your it is. Go towards it. Run. Focus. Focus.
I'm focusing. Okay, there we go. I was too close.
Where are you? Don't let it see. Don't get lost. Don't let it see you.
You know, I've been chased by a lot of things in my video game career, but I don't think I've ever been chased by fire. Literal fire, like maybe a fire elemental or a monster made of fire. The Burning Man from MGS5 being a good example, but never just plain old fire. How does this game manage to be so fresh, so unique all the time? It really is a work of genius. Oh, there's the glowing thing. I can head through there. Oh no, let's run. Don't want to get caught by the fire. The somehow chasing me fire. Oh shit, I fucked up. Nope, I got away. Okay, now I have to find the exit. Only I have no idea where it is. I guess I just run around until I encounter it. As long as I move circuitously enough, I should be able to avoid the fire. I can't tell if the fire can pass through walls or not, or if it has to go through the same passageways as I do. Nope, didn't want to go through that twice, game. Don't make me do that. Let's see, come on, where's the exit? It's gotta be somewhere around here, surely. I'm getting worried. George is getting upset. There we go. Just had to return back to start.
Senua!
Senua. What happened?
They're blaming me for the plague. They say that I'm cursed. What if they're right?
How would they know such a thing? Are they gods? None of us are. They're just people. Good people, but they're scared. They're afraid of what they can't see. Like children scared of the dark. They make up stories to fill the void. It doesn't make them true.
What if my father was right?
You have to step out of this darkness. Let them see who you really are, like I have. You're not a monster.
Without you, this darkness has made me a monster.
Whew, another trial complete. I gotta say, Dillion is awesome. I can see why Senua is going to literal hell for him. The fact, though, that these trials are of such personal matters does make me think that maybe everything that's going on is literally just a representation of Senua dealing with her grief over Dillion's death, and that it's not actually physically happening. But again, the game is being ambiguous about it, and I don't think it'll ever make it truly clear.
I want to tell you a story about a god of the Northmen called Balder. The second son of Odin. He was beautiful, good, and wise. He was fair of feature, he spoke fair words, he gave fair judgments. Light shone from him. Only good things were told of him. Yet he was the first of the gods to die.
Oh. Well, I was about to say we're back here, but no, this is just similar looking to that previous building location we were in. The one after the bridge, I mean. You know, Balder shows up being referenced in a lot of different media, but whenever I hear his name, I can't help but think of his representation in Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor, where he is named Baldur, or no, Belder, to fit with a theming thing that game does. It changes his name slightly. And his appearance, I highly recommend looking that up. Just type Devil Survivor Belder. Oh, that face is following me. Oh no, it's an optical illusion. That is pretty great.
You want to see what the mask sees.
Actually, I can't tell if it is an optical illusion. Does that work in video like this? That only works with still images, doesn't it? I can't tell if it's an actual optical illusion and it's just a fixed thing or if it's actually following me. But yeah, Google him just to check out his appearance in that game because it is so ridiculous looking.
Where are we? It's the same.
Holy shit, we have a time travel mechanic. Or changing seasons, perhaps? A little bit of both, it seems. I love when this sort of thing shows up in a game. Probably my favorite example, not because it's an especially impressive one, but just because it's one from a game that was very formative for my video game experience. And that's the first planet from the Milky Way Wishes subgame of Kirby Superstar for the SNES. That is one of my favorite games from my childhood, and the gimmick of that level is that you have to change the seasons in order to progress.
The Northmen tell this story about the death of Balder. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Balder dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Balder's mother makes everything in the world: fire, water, iron, stone, earth, wood, beasts, birds, serpents, poison, sickness, swear an oath not to harm her son. One by one, they each make their vow. Neither weapons nor wood will injure him, Balder's mother boasts. Only Loki, father of Hela, the mistress of death, is not amused.
Oh, this is actually a tale that I'm quite familiar with, I just remembered. And I quite like it. I won't spoil it for anyone who's not familiar with it. Okay, I probably could have picked this up while listening to the Lore Stone, but after failing that in the previous instance, I just wanted to make sure I wouldn't miss out on anything. Alright, so I've got to find that symbol somewhere. I get the feeling that it's probably not around here, or I should say, not around when. Yeah, I'm thinking that in order to find that shape, I'll probably have to change the time again. Let's see if that hunch of mine is correct. It seems to be, since I'm not seeing those smaller symbols appearing. Okay, well, I keep that rune in my mind when I travel, so yeah, that does seem to be the case. Could I have lowered that in the other time? And would that have affected things here? Maybe I was supposed to have done that. Because yeah, otherwise I don't have a way of proceeding. Whoops. Okay, hold on. Let's head back to warm summertime. Yeah, I can wait, are those stairs collapsed or can I walk down them? I can't really tell from here. Nothing for it but to move on over. Just checking at the... Apologies for that, I had a frog in my throat that I had to clear. Surprised that's the first one I've had since I've been commentating for the past like 5 hours. 5 hours and 8 minutes according to OBS, good lord. I don't think I've played a game for as long a session as this, ever. Not even my beloved Dark Souls. That's just how much this game is interesting me. Let's see, can I go down there? I think I can. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. The wise, brave, and bold words of Thomas the Tank Engine. I've said this before, but this is a really good game. I'm bringing that up again because I just had the thought that in this year, the year of our Lord 2017, a year in which we've had so many good video game releases, both AAA and independently developed. I think it might be this game that so seeks to bridge the gap between those two tiers of game design that may end up being my game of the year overall. I just cannot overstate just how much I like this game so far. It would take me running into a game-ruining bug, much like the Silver Sun himself, to actually ruin my enjoyment. And I think even were that to occur, I think I would be fine playing back up to this point. I wouldn't do it immediately, I'd have to take a bit of a break from the game, but I'd get back here and finish this playthrough. That is just how much this game has been impressing me so far. Well, I heard a whisper of focus back here, so maybe the rune's somewhere nearby. Or the voices are just misleading me, as they often do. Well, it wasn't around the left side of the house, so let's check the right side. Oh, we have another face. Another creepy optical illusion of a face.
What are you waiting for? Quick, find a way. Find him. Go. Before he disappears. Dillian, don't lose him.
Oh, he's going to end up disappearing again. I know how this song and dance goes. I'm loving these weird effects that pop up on the screen on occasion. Okay, yeah, from this side, it doesn't move at all, so yeah, it very much is that optical illusion thing. I don't think I've ever actually seen a game use an optical illusion before.
Where is he? Where's he gone? We're in the wrong world. He's not here. She's in the wrong. Do you see it in this space? He's in the other one. He's in the other one. He's in the dark world. The dark.
Honey, you have to remove the chain. I guess I can't really do that. Yeah, it's probably tied around the other side. But perhaps... No, I probably can't open the main door and have that carry over. Yep, nope.
Darkness and light. narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillian taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of color stretching away from the gloom. And Senua explored new paths into the unknown.
Just unlocking the shortcuts here before I progress. They may be necessary in order to progress for all I know. Well, that sigil was back there, but I'm curious what's off in this direction. There is, after all, more of that tail to find. That surely has to be around here somewhere.
He's there. We saw that she was strong.
Alright, well the symbols showed up over here. I think they're showing up in this room in general, so it's somewhere here. Probably gonna be formed by some of these planks of wood. If the game has taught me anything thus far. Maybe this little cross-hatching? No, it's not quite going to work. Somewhere else then. I see some wood casting a shadow over there that looks like it might be a suitable candidate.
Not in this
Oh,
world.
or maybe not. Not if I can't ascend here. Maybe if I just look behind me then? I'm trying to think. If I were to look at this from the other side, would it be the suitable shape? Probably not.
Dillian undoes the curse. Does it feel like to feel a love so strong?
Yeah, this might be another one of those instances where I get stuck and I just have to look around until I find the thing. Oh, wait, hold on. Those two bits right there, they look like they fit perfectly. Let me look directly behind me to see what's casting those shadows. Is it those planks of wood? It might be. It's... Oh, wait. Booyah.
Do you remember meeting him beneath the tree? You've got it. Why isn't he here? He's gone. He's in the dark world. He's gone to the dark
You know,
world.
I never thought I would enjoy a prop hunt game as much as I am right now. Because that's basically what these segments of the game are. It's a prop hunt. Or where's Waldo, or what have you. Just looking for a specific configuration of shapes within the environment. And this game makes a strong case for that actually being a, what's the word? Impressive? Something like that. Game genre. Something that could actually be a worthwhile game genre and not just an idle amusement. If there were more of them that actually took place in 3D environments, because that opens up your options for what can form those shapes so much. Like if someone were to make a game that is just these segments, I think that would actually be pretty enjoyable.
There he is. Where are you taking him?
He's up there. How do you get up there? There's a way. There is a way up there. Find the way. She can do it. You're nearly there. She can find the
Oh, this is cool. I have to fix the stairway by finding the right viewpoint. Let's see. I think I might need to be a little bit further away so it fills in properly. Yep. God, the way you affect the environment in this game is so cool. I've never seen a game do anything quite like this.
You should have listened to your father when you had
The
the chance.
gods feast and rejoice and amuse themselves by throwing spears and stones at Balder, striking at him with sword and axe. But he comes to no harm, whatever they do. The gods never cease to wonder at this great marvel. But Loki shapes himself into a woman and asks Balder's mother, "Is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe?" I did not ask the mistletoe, Baldur's mother confesses. I thought it was too young. Oh dear.
What exactly did she think would come of telling someone else Baldur's one and only weakness? Like, putting aside the fact that he was actually Loki, why did she think that was a good idea? You'd think that gods would be smarter, but nope. Not in the pantheistic religions. Oh yay, time for more prop hunt. This time I gotta find 3 shapes.
Years had passed since she left her father. She trained hard alongside her friend, Dillian. She saw things no one else could. Patterns, shapes, movement. An intuition that made her an exceptional warrior. Friendship turned to love. But the shadow of darkness never let her go. She was caught between 2 worlds. That of Zinbel and her past.
No, not now, not in the midst of a trial. Okay, I'm probably gonna come back as soon as my controller is sufficiently charged. For you, it'll be but a moment, but for me, it'll basically be like a Tuesday. What with how long it ends up feeling. Oh well. This is what I get for not having multiple DS4 controllers. The girls are back in town, the girls are back in town. And by the girls, I of course mean the many, many voices in Senua's head. Also, I'm back too. I think it was for the best that my controller ran out of battery there. It let me have a bit of a break, rest my voice, eat a snack I hadn't eaten in 5 hours, and just generally refresh myself. From this point onward, assuming I don't have any issues that crop up, but my battery should last, my controller is now fully charged, I should be ready to go onward to the rest of the game, and finish it hopefully. I feel like I must be like 60 to 70% of my way through, at least if my playtime is any indication. And let's get this in.
You have no time for this. Speed up.
Girls, how could you possibly doubt these runes? They've helped all of us so much thus far. But that's the way that her thoughts go. They scatter every which way, covering pretty much every possibility. That's actually something I can relate to personally, even though I don't have schizophrenia or psychosis or anything like that. Just the whole all sorts of thinking unwanted thoughts thing. I am fairly familiar with that. So we have one face up here, and then there's one below, near this door that I need to get past. Let's start with the lower one first. I imagine both of the remaining symbols are probably in the past. And did I ever check out this lore node? I don't think I did.
Loki makes a dart out of mistletoe and goes to the gods as they throw things at Baldur. The blind god, Huth, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking part. Huth says, I cannot see where Baldur stands, and even if I could see him, I have no weapon. Loki replies, here is a wand. I will tell you where he stands. And Huth throws the mistletoe at Baldur. It pierces through him, and to everyone's horror, Baldur is killed. And for this, Huth is slain.
Yeah, Loki's kind of a dick. But so aren't the other gods, considering they slew Hoth for a honest mistake. Like, couldn't they have just imprisoned him for life? Well, I guess because he's a god, that would mean for eternity, so I suppose I can see where they were coming from. Still a bit much. Alright, so there's an arrow somewhere around here. And I think I might know where exactly that is. It depends on whether or not this angle works out.
Do you
But I
remember
think it might.
the way
Yep.
he touched you?
That's the second symbol here that has been made by a light.
They're all about wasting your
I think I mistakenly referred to it as shadow earlier, aka the exact opposite. Actually, if you think about it, that's not really true. Shadow is often thought of as opposed to light, but really it's just a cast-off creation of light. Anyway, that's enough fancy wording for now. Let's find that last symbol. I'm not even sure what to call this one. Oh, interesting to see that the door stays open, even when the time changes. I wasn't sure if that would be the case or not. I'm assuming I still can't open up this door. Yep, still locked. Still closed, still closed.
What does it feel like to feel a love so strong?
Alright, the remaining sigil should be somewhere in here. Oh, and hey, lore to listen to in the meantime.
Love is guiding.
The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Balder. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf, and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Balder's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes, and the rollers burst into flames. When Balder's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell. But even so, the gods cannot accept his death.
Do you remember the way he looked?
I do like the parallels that the developers... Oh, I know where the remaining symbol is. I just gotta get to it from the other side, and I think to do that I'm gonna have to change the time zones again. Yeah, drop that bridge and then change back and cross it. This'll take a bit.
He led you
But yeah, I like how they've been paralleling the Norse mythology with what Senua is going through here.
love has tortured you
And that's another check mark tally on the list of it probably all just being in Senua's head. Then again, does it really matter whether it's actually physically happening or not? After all, what's still occurring is affecting Senua. This is what she's experiencing. Whether anyone else watching on would be able to experience that as well, it doesn't really matter all that much. We, as a species, seem to have an obsession with what's real and what isn't. Which is kinda silly, when at the end of the day, everything we see, everything we hear, touch, taste, smell, experience, is a fabrication made by that complex computer known as the brain. And that what we're apparently objectively seeing is not objective at all. A good one being one's sense of color being shaped by one's own language. Stoplights in Japan being referred to as their color for green, but looking like blue to most foreigners, or maybe it's the other way around. And that's just due to how their language is constructed. And that theory I came across that the ancient Greeks actually could literally not see the color blue, and did not actually have a word for it in their language, and that's why there are such strange color descriptions in Homer's epics, referring to the sea as being the color of wine, and the sky as the color of bronze, because they had no concept of blue. Whether or not that's actually true, who the fuck knows, but it's an interesting thing to think about.
Overcome with grief, the gods send Hermod to ride to Hell and ask Hela to let Balder return home. All the gods are weeping, he says. Are they? Asks Hela.
What if this is pointless?
What are you doing? Why did you think you could make this work?
You keep seeing runes. You see runes everywhere.
Everywhere. What if they're not real? What if they don't actually make sense?
They're a trick. The gods were lying. If you think it makes sense, but really the gods are playing with you.
It makes sense in your mind, but it doesn't make sense in the
Worlds. The gods vote, but it doesn't mean anything.
You can't
That's rather odd how the narrator never came back. I feel like that's a glitch. If there is one overall fairly big issue with this game, it's how the various audio stuff ends up interacting with one another. Unless you stay perfectly stock still in one place when listening to stuff, it can end up being cut off and interrupted by other stuff. That's a problem that a lot of video games have, and I've never really seen a good solution for it. Well, let's see what's beyond this gate. My ultimate goal was a tower, was it not? That's where Dillion apparently is. And, I guess that must be that tower. It's interesting, I've been watching the beginning of the game thanks to a video the Super Best Friends have done on this game. A two-parter, the first of which they've released already. And it's interesting looking at the early environments again. It's no wonder I got confused about whether or not I was returning to them, because they were pretty similar to some of the environments from later. And I'm pretty sure that repetition, that reuse of environmental assets is completely on purpose.
Dillion never much cared for the underworld, and looked dimly upon the druids, like her father, Zinbel.
You can do it.
I guess he took after his father, a chieftain who believed nothing he couldn't see, and he happened to be blind. She felt safe in Dillion's arms, and to see the world through his eyes. Slowly, the darkness that had bound her so tightly began to unravel.
After all, if everything is indeed just in Senua's mind, of course there's going to be a lot of repetition. I really do hope the game never actually makes it clear one way or the other, though.
Very careful.
I feel like that would be a huge mistake.
It's a narrow bridge. And there's a long way to fall. No! Your fault. He's disappeared. You've lost him to the sea. He's gone. Just come to the water.
It's your fault, it's your fault. That could be the refrain for pretty much the entirety of the game.
Your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. So someone is afraid of the dark. Should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world? You, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares. Or is this the
Killing
price
you
you
would be
pay
too
for the
easy.
gift you have?
They're taking your memories to torture you. They're taking you
She's very special in
disappearing
mine.
one memory.
Just
Every
another
time you
just
remember,
another.
it disappears. They're going to take everything. They're not yours anymore. They're going to take everything you have. The memories of ghosts. Who may belong to the gods to protect you. They're eating you from the inside. They want to kill your soul. They want to crush it. Your body. They want your soul. They want your mind, and they're going to take it. The memories were yours, but they're the gods now. Nothing is yours.
I really like how Senua's conscious voice there was far and away the softest of the bunch. If it weren't for the subtitles, I don't think I would have known she was speaking at all. Instead, her other voices, the doubting voices, drowned it out. I feel like that was probably on purpose. Okay, on to the next marker. I think I only have like 1 or 2 left, if I'm not mistaken. This one right here, and then I think there might have been one over off in that direction I couldn't find my way to. Or maybe this is the last one. This would be the 4th. There being 4 would be equal, equitous. And can I just say, before I move on, I want to discuss that. I really like how positive Dillion was. He wanted Senua to have a positive outlook about the things that she saw. After all, what she saw was unique to her. She saw the world in a way that no one else quite could. And that is special in and of itself. Far too often we end up just automatically discussing and seeing any sort of mental differences from the norm as purely negative, and in many cases they certainly can be. They can end up causing lots of harm to the person experiencing them. But in many cases it's not really a negative per se, and there can in fact even be advantages to that. I think a lot of people with autism would end up arguing that their autism isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I think I can say that fairly safely because I have heard that argument many times before. It all comes down to a matter of perspective. Different can be harmful, but it isn't automatically. And you should try and view what makes you you with positivity ultimately. If nothing else, it's certainly healthier than looking at it as purely a negative.
The Northmen say that their Allfather, Odin, gave his eye in exchange for a drink from Mimir's well, the Well of Wisdom. In blindness there can be wisdom. Only by giving can you receive in return. For this reason, I give my life and pass on my stories of the Northmen to you, Senua.
Where am I? I can't see. Who's there?
Can you hear me? I'm right here. Can't you see me?
Help me.
Breathe slow.
It's the darkness.
Stay still. Empty your thoughts.
Oh boy, and I thought I had encountered darkness before.
Breathe.
Good. And there is a way out.
I can't tell where it comes from.
Yes,
The
you can.
others. The voices. They've gone.
I'm still here.
It's so quiet. So dark.
It's okay. Listen to your own breath. Feel it rise and fall. Good. Be aware of everything you hear and feel. Let your senses guide you.
You know, there's a lot to this segment that's not going to come across just from watching it. You know how Senua feels a breeze? I feel vibrations in my controller, that's how I'm telling where to go. But of course, for those without vibrating controllers, or say if they're playing the PC version with the keyboard and mouse, they still have a little bit of a light off in the distance, so you can find your way.
Go on. Lillian?
Find a way. I'm not leaving you here.
It's really well thought out is what I'm saying. Oh, there we go. I feel the rumbling off in this distance. There's the breeze. Seriously, hour after hour this game keeps introducing more and more new mechanics and new interesting ways of interacting with the environment. Oh, I lost the breeze. Where is it next? There it is. I do wonder if the PC version, if you're using the keyboard and mouse, if there's anything additional in addition to the lights to actually find your way forward. I feel like they'd have to include something, because the lights alone aren't enough since there are multiple light sources. Without the vibrations, I probably wouldn't have been able to find my way here this easily. So they must have something
I
else.
think I'm somewhere else now. The breeze has gone.
Use all of your senses. Let the world speak to you. What do you hear?
I hear water.
Go to it.
Perhaps with the PC version you simply need to rely on your hearing a bit more. Alright, I hear water off in this direction, so let's go. Seriously, this is so cool. And I'm not just saying that because the water's cold. Imagine how immersive you could make a game with a design like this.
That's your way out. Follow it upstream.
If there were other methods of sensing things in the game aside from hearing and control of vibrations.
I thought I left this all behind.
Don't be sorry. It's not your fault.
He was right. It's inside of me. It won't let me go.
Senua. My father. He taught me that the hardest battles are fought in the mind, not the sword. You're no coward. You proved that to me in the warrior tribe. This is just another battle. You can beat it.
This isn't your battle. You don't have to help me.
I want to. Besides, you are going to be a great warrior one day. You need people like you.
I'll do it.
Imagine this game in VR.
I know what you're thinking. He's not really here. It seems there's no escaping the past in this place. And so she's forced to relive it. To what end?
Oh, for a second there I thought this small enclosed tunnel was gonna get even worse. I'm not especially claustrophobic, but I'm still wigged out by really tight spaces. I think perhaps reading The Enigma of Amigara Fault probably contributed to that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I recommend googling that. It's spelled exactly how you'd expect. Amigara is A-M-I-G-A-R-A. It's a very good horror comic. Very short too, it's only like 40 pages.
There is a house.
Again, with the oft-repeated imagery. Oh wow, speaking of, I'm pretty sure this is almost the exact same construction as some of the previous buildings I've been in. Anytime I've been in a bit with housing, it was probably a home she once had. Perhaps her childhood home, or the one she enjoyed with Dillian.
Afraid.
There's something in here.
Do you see it? No. Then it cannot see you. Quietly move past it, one step at a time.
Okay, I guess make sure I don't see anything frightening so it doesn't see me. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be listening for something here or what, but... Oh. I heard something ahead of me, that's worrying. But proceeding forward seems to be working. That's just the creaking of wood, and there's something ahead, but it looks like it might just be some sort of fixture. Hopefully it's not an awful monster. Got a chest. This ain't a looting game though, so we can't do much with it. Just moving slowly forward, one step at a time. Slow and steady, like the proverbial turtle. Oh, I felt a little bit of a vibration. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Should I head towards it? Oh, hopefully it's a good thing. More vibrations. Oh, probably don't want to make any noise. Okay, that's an exit. I hope that's not the way I came in. I think I made it.
It's not following.
Leave it behind. Keep moving forwards.
Yeah. Follow the good advice of Secretariat. Just keep running from your problems. Anyone excited for Season 4 of BoJack Horseman? Not to overly date this, but boy, am I sure excited. Hello. I probably don't want to encounter that. So, give it a wide berth. I probably don't want to step into that light. I would probably very quickly end up dead. Oh, there's a wall here though, so it doesn't seem like I have much of a choice. What if I head around the right side? Maybe that'll work out better. Nope, got walls here too, it looks like. Okay. Just go forward slowly and carefully, and maybe they won't sense me. Oh. Slowly and carefully, being careful not to cross their paths. That didn't see me, did it? I think it's just moving on its original path. It's not actually, following me. Well, maybe it is. It's really hard to tell. Oh, the uncertainty here is adding so much tension to the situation. And it's already pretty tense by default. I keep doubting my actions, which direction I should move in. I think it's moving to the left though, so I should be fine to circle around it. I am tempted to just run up to it just to see if I can get a better look at it, but I kind of don't want the black rot to progress any further than it has, so... Okay. Well, I got a good look at it. Not for a very long time, though. I'm betting it's the kind of situation where if I were to get a good long look at it, it would look very silly. The kind of creature that relies on being mostly obscured in order to be frightening.
Leave it behind.
One of my favorite examples of that is the monster chase scene from At the Mouth of Madness. That fantastic, No, it's not a David Lynch movie, not a Cronenberg film. Who's the other dude who does the really grotesque horror? Famous in the 80s and 90s, I was about to say David Cage, but that's not correct. Well, he does do horror, but not intentionally. And not in film, thank God. He's stuck in the video game cesspit. Carpenter, that's it. David Carpenter? Something Carpenter. John Carpenter, yeah, that's it. The dude who directed The Thing and a bunch of other good movies. But yeah, there's a chase scene at the end when the protagonist is running away from the town that it takes place in, being chased by a whole bunch of eldritch monsters from beyond the stars. And the scene itself, if you watch it, still holds up really well and is super frightening. But if you pause and look at the monsters in detail, they look incredibly goofy. Because they were never designed to be looked at straight on and for more than brief microseconds. They were designed only to be seen briefly and in poor lit conditions. And in those conditions, they work out very well, but if you take them away, if you change the conditions, they work pretty terribly. Okay, I think I'm at the end. No! Oh, that was close. Holy shit. I think I can make it around this boy. Stay away, spider boy, stay away. I think, though, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Watch it turn out that I somehow turned myself around and am now walking backwards. I don't think I did that, but that would be unfortunate. I imagine this is not nearly as oh, fuck you. I should have just kept moving forward. It was my hesitation that let that one from behind catch up to me. Alright, third time's the charm. But as I was saying before I got interrupted by myself, I'm so good at that, interrupting myself.
Leave it behind.
I imagine this isn't nearly as tense just watching it. And that is why I highly recommend that anyone still watching this, regardless of in what form it is. I'm still not sure how I want to upload this. Do I cut it into concise parts? Or do I just upload it as one huge honkin' 8+ hour video? I'm honestly tempted to do that because I feel like that would actually fit this game.
You're breathing too fast.
Like, Senua is not experiencing this in chunks. She's experiencing this journey all in one session. And so I feel experiencing it that way yourself would make more sense. But we'll see what I end up doing. If you're watching this, you'll already know that. Oh crap, one's coming closer to me. Wait, oh crap, there's one close by apparently. I'm not sure where it is. It doesn't help that there were walls here. If it was a more open area, this wouldn't be as bad, I think. But yes, if there's anyone still watching this terrible, terrible playthrough, I strongly recommend picking this game up for yourself. No. If you have either a PS4 or a PC sufficiently powerful to run this. Apparently it is a fairly demanding game. So that might not be the case, but if one of those cases is true in your case, I'm just saying case over, no. Oh, I'm gonna get caught again. Fuck! I couldn't even see that guy ahead, that's just unfair. But yeah, if you can play this, experiencing it for yourself is very critical, I think, to fully enjoying it. I think even if you know what happens ahead, it'll still be just as good, if not perhaps even a little bit better. I actually plan on doing a second playthrough at some point myself, just to re-experience all of this with new context. Not to mention there are apparently at least 2 endings, so there is replayability in that way as well. I think I'll just cut to when I actually make it to the end of this. This might be a little trial and error-y. Hopefully I'm not jinxing myself by saying, I think I've made it. Ooh. Yeah, I made it close in those previous attempts. I feel like that section was a bit rougher than it should have been. There should have been less of those creatures wandering around. They do give you that purple tinge to your screen to know when one is in close proximity, but that doesn't necessarily mean you know where they are, unless you don't know where to move to avoid them, necessarily. I had a few very close encounters on that run through, but I seem to have finally made it. Whew.
I think I'm in a house. It stinks of death.
The darkness is testing you. You are in control.
I'm in control. I'm in control. I don't remember anything else other than that single, like, 2-line and slight tone to whatever song that's from. I like doing... oh, crap. Lots of walls. At least as long as there's nothing threatening, it's not so bad. I like doing sing-songy stuff because it's easy filler commentary. You know what's not easy, though? Walking across a narrow pathway when I can barely see. I can't even tell which way I'm necessarily supposed to lean. Oh boy. You know, I've heard people describe...
A well. There's a well.
Don't turn back. You're getting close.
I've heard people describe some mental maladies as like walking a tightrope. And never have I realized could it be so literal as it was there. Wait, no, I don't want to go back. No, please, no, just back off. Let's go, down the well. The Dark Souls well. I hope it's not the Dark Souls well, because if it is, there's nothing but a stinky cesspit at the bottom. That's a knock on the Dark Souls fandom there for you. Okay, we have Spoda Boys back, and one's gonna grab me. I think one grabbed me. Okay, so it's the previous avoidance section, but worse. I think this is the first time in the game I've been less than enthused with a gameplay segment. These parts are just... it's too easy to fail during them. That's one thing the previous segments have done well, is making them pretty easy to get through without too much trouble. Nope. But here it's really easy to end up failing just by heading a few steps in the wrong direction. And that results in a lot of repetition and a lot less fun than there usually is. Doesn't help that these jerks are all around, and it's really difficult to tell exactly where they're moving a lot of the time. Nope. Get away. Oh, damn it. I think I would have been okay. I don't think they actually try and come after me. They don't even notice me, I think. It's just if I end up getting too close to them. The issue is that with the lack of visual clarity and the fact that they have more than 4 limbs waving around, makes it really hard to tell where exactly they're going, and that's where I need to go to successfully avoid them. That's what I kind of meant earlier by the previous section being kind of trial and error-y. There's no sure way to do this. But ultimately, if this is the only section like this, I'm fine with that. After all, when you're dealing with a mental illness, there's no sure way of progression, is there?
Is that you? I can see a light.
Yes, I can see you too.
That's the amazing thing about this game and its tackling of mental disorders is even the less well-designed parts can end up fitting into things, if you're willing to view them in a certain light. Even if I wasn't already planning on doing a second playthrough, I think I'd do one anyway after a little bit, just to see if I end up as having a positive opinion as on my first playthrough here. I feel like this game has just wowed me enough that I'm not exactly experiencing it with all that much clarity. Like, I feel like I'm fangirling a little bit too hard here, you know? And I would like to re-experience it with a bit of a clearer head, and see if it still ends up holding up. For now, though, I continue to be utterly impressed and amazed every minute I play this game.
She could spend hours, days even, trapped within herself, in the dark.
You see me?
Yes.
Your eyes were open, but you were gone.
And when it finally let her go, she could be anywhere, with no memory of how she got there.
When it comes for me, I have no power over it.
But here, for the first time, someone was there to help.
But I heard your voice. You brought me back.
You found your own way back. All you needed was a little help. A little hope.
In contrast to the other trials, even at its worst, that one was surprisingly peaceful.
The warrior trials. Go get the sword.
It was threatening, very threatening, but
Odin's blessing to walk, a goddess, into the halls of Helheim and challenge Hela as an equal.
So Dillion was helping me. And the sword will lead me to him. Like when we first met.
But always a calm threatening. The Teddy Roosevelt style, you know, walking softly but still carrying a big stick. And I can also understand that being lost in darkness, one owns dark thoughts. Thoughts that you'd rather not have, but your brain can't seem to stop spitting out for whatever reason. Hey, it's a complex organ with complex needs and complex difficulties. That's just the nature of being alive and being as intelligent as we are. So yeah, this segment was basically all Senua facing her issues, her various issues in varying degrees, and coming through them stronger for it. That's why we're getting a red sword.